The final award for the class of 2016 is the Zembiec Award. This award is named in honor of Major Doug Zembiec, United States Marine Corps, a graduate of the United Naval Academy class of 1995. Major Zembiec volunteered for and was assigned frequent combat missions in direct support of the global war on terror and considered it his greatest honor to lead Marines in combat. In May of 2007, he was tragically killed in an engagement outside of Baghdad. His countless acts of heroism, determination, ferocity, compassion, commitment, and zeal for life will be remembered and recounted among the thousands of people privileged to have known him. This award is established in his name in an effort to further imbue future generations of warriors with a greater sense of heritage within the Marine Corps, to promote sacrifice over personal gain, and to help foster the recognition that Marine officers serve a cause much greater than themselves. In the finest traditions of those warriors who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and those who in future generations will heed the call to arms, the Major Zembiec Award honors the warrior spirit found in all great combat leaders. The Zembiec Award is a bayonet with scabbard.
Joining us today to present the Zembiec Award is Commander Andre Coleman, Naval Academy class of 1995, a classmate and close friend of Doug. Upon graduation, Commander Coleman received his commission as an ensign in the Civil Engineer Corps and has served in numerous billets around the globe, to include Branch Chief for the Afghan National Police infrastructure in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Commander Coleman is currently assigned as the Public Works Officer in Naval Facilities, Washington.
He was a man of flesh and blood. He wasn't made of rock. Angel devil child, legendary stock. But somehow he was different, or true athletes always are. This is the opening stanza of a poem that I learned as a wrestler in high school. But it wasn't until my plebe year at the academy when I met Doug Zembiec that I realized I had met the subject of that poem. Doug was a character, but more importantly, he embodied character. He came to the academy from Albuquerque, New Mexico, the son of an FBI agent and school teacher. And it's from these two incredible people that Doug would begin to be a student of his profession, always improving, always seeking to make himself better than he was the day before. Doug loved to say, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And in some way, some form or another, he truly did improve himself daily. But more importantly, he always made himself available to help those around him improve. Doug truly believed in selfless service to his family, to his friends, and to his country. It seems like only yesterday that Doug and I set off from Annapolis, me heading to the CBs and Doug to the Corps. And I look out at my classmates, and I see men and women who I think are still in their prime. But when I get the opportunity to interact with the young men and women that are graduating here today, I quickly come to a realization of my own age and my own shelf life. And I realize that these new warriors are about to join us in the fray. The young men and women graduating here today represent the future of the Officer Corps. Marines that have made the commitment to their country, and more importantly to one another, to stand shoulder to shoulder, ready to face the challenges of an ever-changing and hostile world. As the gap in years grow between the class of 95 and today's class of 2016, the stories of Zembiec's actions become just that, stories. And many of you may ask, why is he different from anyone else? Why should we care? The answer is simple. Doug cared for those around him. He put others first. It's easy to look at the list of accomplishments. A high school state champion wrestler, a two-time NCAA All-American wrestler, team captain in the Armed Forces Eco Challenge, a force recon operator. You may think that we're remembering him for his accomplishments, but nothing could be further from the truth. Doug is remembered not for what he did, but more importantly for what he inspired others to do. Doug was an inspiration to his classmates, to the Marines he led, and to the leaders of our military. If you Google Doug Zembiec's name, you will find well over a dozen articles and stories from papers around the nation telling you some aspect of the life of the Lion of Fallujah. Though his actions definitely warranted the title, whenever you heard him use the term, it was a reference to his own Marines. My men fought like lions and killed many insurgents. The valor and courage of the Marines was magnificent. These are words he wrote to his own wife, Pam, during a fierce rivalry in Fallujah. Even before he held the moniker, the Lion. The LA Times columnist Tony Perry wrote a very revealing piece on Doug entitled The Unapologetic Warrior. The author captures some of the essence of Doug as he describes him. Zembiec is the charismatic commander of Echo Company of the 2nd Battalion, 1st Regiment, 1st Marine Division. During the month-long battles in Iraq earlier this year for the Sunni Triangle city of Fallujah, no combat unit did more fighting and bleeding than Echo Company. And during it all, from the opening assault to the final retreat ordered by the White House, Zembiec led from the front. He took the most dangerous missions himself, was wounded by shrapnel, repeatedly dared the enemy to attack, then wrote heartfelt letters to the families of those who were killed in combat, and won the respect of his troops and his bosses. Shortly before his own death, while in Iraq, Doug would write in his own journal, "Leaders have a vision, an end state, that they communicate and instill in their men in an empowering, confident manner. They don't talk with false bravado or loud, but rather speak in a clear, concise, matter-of-fact manner which empowers their men." Doug was not afraid to shed a tear. And for those who knew him, you realized early on that his emotions were very much a part of whom he was. As he spoke to his men about their losses in Fallujah, he openly wept. No one saw this as a sign of weakness. Instead, they realized it for what it was. It was a leader who cared deeply for every Marine in his charge. In this regard, I can say that I learned a great deal from Doug. A handshake will not do when a hug is warranted. Never pass up an opportunity to tell those most important to you that you love them, or you may not get the opportunity again in the future. A young Marine standing watch at the gate as Mr. Zembiec entered Camp Helmington asked, "Are you the father of Captain Zembiec?" He then went on to say that he was the best officer he ever served under, and he would follow him back to battle with just a spoon. After Doug's death, many of us paused to reflect on our loss to our family, to our nation. General Petraeus extolled Zembiec's actions as he dedicated a helipad to him at Camp Victory. Secretary of Defense Gates came close to tears as he described Doug as a grounded, respected leader who earned praise from those he commanded as well as his superiors. Doug inspired those he commanded as well as those who commanded him. And that is why we remember him and look for those with a similar potential to inspire Marines and leaders in the conflicts to come. After Doug's death, our classmates and Marines that served with him bonded together to create the Zembiec Award. The purpose of the award was not to find the next Doug Zembiec, but rather to identify the graduating midshipmen who best exemplified the intangible leadership qualities, unconquerable spirit, and undaunted determination that Doug embodied. In developing this award, we steered away from the criteria normally seen in leadership awards. We did not want to recognize leaders of midshipmen, but identify the physical specimen whose desire it was to lead Marines, essentially the guy or gal everyone would want to have their back in the night. It has been my honor over the past 9 years that we have presented the Zembiec Award to have been lucky enough to interview midshipmen. During this time, I've been impressed by the caliber of young leaders at the Academy. After the first year of sitting down and speaking with the candidates, I came to the stark realization that had I been up against many of these young men and women in my younger days, I may not have been blessed with the opportunity to attend the Academy myself. As a panelist, our questions are simple. I often start asking about the first article of the Code of Conduct. Though this may seem like a random question, more appropriate for a plebe come-around, it has deeper meaning. When I got married, Doug gave me a gift that hangs in my office today. It's a framed copy of the Code of Conduct with $95 taped to the back. Lest we never forget the code we have chosen to live our lives by. I am an American, fighting in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I'm prepared to give my life in their defense. And $95 to always remind me of the bond that we share. When asked without prompting, Midshipman Goble clearly explained to the panel his thoughts on the ultimate sacrifice a leader should make for those in his charge. Though some thought of sacrificing their time and knowledge, Midshipman Goble noted that the most important sacrifice he could give for his Marines would be his life. Another question asked is simple. What characteristic do you possess that will help you gain the trust and respect of your Marines? And one of the best answers I've heard in years, Midshipman Goble calmly and plainly stated, unwavering aggression. This may seem rather brash to some, but for those who know and who have been in harm's way, you know sometimes good men are called upon to do bad things. And that is why we often find the great combat leaders by not looking at their academic performance, but discussing with them their attitudes and actions on the playing fields, boxing rings, and wrestling mats. In closing, let me leave you with this. Doug journaled. I like to say journaled because I don't want to say kept a diary. He filled volumes of journals during his time at the Academy and his time in the Marine Corps. One of the most memorable entries is for the midshipmen here about to become Marines. Be a man of principle. Fight for what you believe in. Keep your word. Live with integrity. Be brave. Believe in something bigger than yourself. Serve your country. Teach. Mentor. Give something back to society. Lead from the front. Conquer your fears. Be a good friend. Be humble and be self-confident. Appreciate your friends and family. Be a leader and not a follower. Be valorous in the field of battle and take responsibility for your actions. Never forget those who were killed and never let rest those that killed them. Midshipman Goble, as you move forward into the fleet, know that you stand on the shoulders of giants. This is no prediction of success, but rather a commitment from those who have gone before you, that we will help you and support you in every way possible. Congratulations to all of you, and welcome to the fray.
The recipient of the Zembiec Award for 2016 is Midshipman First Class Tyler R. Goble of Plymouth, Michigan. Midshipman Goble is a member of the 19th Company. He majored in quantitative economics and will be a Marine Corps ground officer.